Hey, Katrina here from Scrappy Horses. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I want to share with you a bag I made for the FarmQuest Challenge blog. Now the theme or twist over there is anything goes, country or farm. So I've chosen to go with this little Christmas country bag. So here I have some Raffia ribbon, and this was for my stash. I thought it matched the snowflakes in the paper really well. Here's some kitchen string. I've got some ink from Close to My Heart. I have cocoa, chocolate, and cashmere. I also have a sponge. And now here are the pieces that I die cut with my Cricut. I have my bag topper, a piece for my tag. This little piece will be an insert for my bag topper. I have my little horse head. I also have some lace, and that's from Simplicity. I have some burlap ribbon, and I have a little snowflake and another tag piece to go on the back of my tag. I also have some scissors here and fabric tack and a few other miscellaneous items. And here's the actual bag that I have. And I cut this on my Cricut machine, and the bag cut is listed below if you are interested in finding that very same cut. Now, if you go back to the beginning of the video, you remember that this is for FarmQuest Challenge. So I thought it would be fun to use the paper that had come wrapped around horse bedding. And believe me, my horse Jake was wondering, what am I doing? Taking all the bedding bags and keeping them really clean and taking them up to the house. But you'll soon see how this works out for us. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take that dark cocoa ink, and I'm just going to messily color that tag piece. I'm going around the edge of the snowflake, just kind of scruffing up the edges a little bit with my fingernail. I do have a distressing tool. I just couldn't locate it, so I just used my fingernail. So I'm using a little bit of this cashmere ink and taking a little bit of the white off. It just sort of makes it a little more ivory looking. And I'm doing the same thing with this piece. Now, the bag topper. All right, the bag topper is white on the back, and it shows from the other side. So I cut a second bag topper out of craft paper. I'm tearing off that edge, and I'll use that on another project. Now, just so it will slide in carefully, I'm cutting away this top part so that I can slide it right under. I'm going to trim away that little piece of lace, and I'll save that for another project. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to use this cashmere ink. I'm going to go around the edges of the bag topper on the inside and the outside. Now you can see there's that white that I was telling you about. I want to cover that up. So I'm just going around the edges with some chocolate ink so that after I bring that craft piece in, the stark white will not show if I don't get it lined up exactly, precisely correct. All right, so here we are. We're just sort of inking all this up, and now you can see what I was talking about. I'm going to go ahead and take a little fabric tack, and I'm going to glue it into place, and finally, all these things I've been telling you will make sense. Now we have the bag topper complete. However, I'd like to do a little more to it. So this is for a country sort of challenge, right, on the farm. So I brought out this burlap ribbon, and I'm going to take the metal out of it. I've cut it in half because it had metal on both sides. I removed the metal from the one side, and I actually keep that metal because you never know when you might need a little piece of metal to twist around some foliage or something. I'm going to cut a little bit of lace. I'm going to cut it just a little bit wider because I can always snip away the excess if I need to. I'm going to go ahead and take my fabric tack and just put a little stream of it right along where that wire was, right underneath there. I'm going to put the lace in place right there. And now I'm going to fray away 2 little strings from the burlap. Now I'm ready to place that at the bottom underneath of my bag topper. I'm going to take a half of this little piece of double score tape and tape it in there. Then I will go ahead and add a little bit of fabric tack glue over the top of that and just place this in. Now, you can see that there is tape and glue still above that. That's going to hold my raffia in place on the back. So I'm going to sort of flatten that out a little bit and just lay it in place over that little bit of tape and glue. Bring it around the front, and there I'm sort of snipping away the excess lace. And I'm going to just tie this into a little bow. All right. So with raffia, you know, it kind of comes twisted and you can sort of play with it a little bit. There are all kinds of things you can do with raffia. I'm going to pretty much leave it alone and just tie it in a cute little bow. This is the back of my tag that I did not color with the cocoa ink, and I'm going to put a little to and from sentiment piece on here so that I can just write in who it's to and from. And then on the front, I have glued my little snowflake piece. And now I'm working on my horse head silhouette that will go on top of the snowflake. I'm just cutting up some 3-dimensional tape, and I will just pull off the liner of that tape and use a little bit of fabric tack and just glue that in, and that will be just about ready. Brought in my crocodile and cut a little hole, and now I'm going to insert that kitchen string just by inserting a loop of it and then bringing my ends through the loop. And now that'll be ready to tie onto my package. Now here's my bag cut, and I'm going to make sure that that writing is on the inside of the bag. I'm going to come in and just go over the score lines that my Cricut put in. It's like craft paper. It's a little different consistency. So I just want to make sure that I get all of my seams in and all of the folds in very crisply. So I'm just recreating them, okay, on here. And then I will burnish them down then with my bone folder. Okay, so there I am, just folding them over, creasing them in with my fingers and my bone folder, and then we'll be ready to put that bag together. As you can see, that one side sort of flipped over on me. That's okay, just refold it in and that's fine. All right, now to put this together, I'm going to add my double score tape to that little tab, add some fabric tack. I always add fabric tack over my double score tape when I'm putting bags together. That way, if I don't get it to meet up exactly right, I've got wiggle room. When you fold that over, you want to make sure that you fold it over so that you still have the fold in place. You don't want your paper to overlap that fold, or else it's not going to have a crisp edge on it. Went ahead and put my bottom in and glued that into place. All right. I took my bag topper, placed it on top of the bag, and drew my circle from the back of the bag topper. This is my own little creation part because I didn't like the way the bag showed out of the top of the bag topper. So that's why I'm drawing this circle. Now I'm folding my bag down, creating a front and back to my bag. All right. And you'll see why I'm doing this. I'm doing this very carefully. I'm going to bring in a circle die. I am going to line up that die with the edges of that circle that I drew in place. I'm going to take some masking tape, tape it in to the edges, catching the inside of that circle with my cutting plate. Okay, see how I've done that? I've pressed it into the center. I'm going to go ahead and sandwich this up. I'm going to remove those little scraps there. Sorry about that. I'm going to sandwich this up and I'm going to run it through my grand caliber. Okay, I have a Spellbinder's grand caliber. I love it because you can do big pieces, 8.5 by 11. So it was nice if you want to do something big like wedding invitations, or like this bag is probably bigger than what would fit in a smaller machine. So I like it. I really have gotten a lot of use out of it. And now we have this cutaway exactly where those marks were. I used Cottage Cuts Stitch Circle Die is what I used. All right, I'm going to unfold that now. And you're going to see now how this fits over perfectly from the front there and back. All right, time to tie that little tag on. And again, just using that kitchen string, just putting it in place there. I'm just going to tie a knot, nothing special. But here comes the special part. I'm going to tie on some Jingle Bells because it seems like, you know, if we have a horse here, we need to have some kind of sleigh bells, right? All right, so now all we have to do is put it on, and you can keep this in place by gluing it onto the bag after you have put your goodies inside. Or you could paper clip it, either way, if you want it to be reusable. Hey, thank you so much for joining me. I know this is such a busy time of year, and I appreciate your time as we're all trying to finish crafting up those last minute goodies. Have a wonderful holiday season, and I'll catch up with you in the next video. Bye.